Hey pretties, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Tanya and I film all kinds of pink girly beauty, fashion, and lifestyle videos on this channel. So if that's something you're into, make sure you hit the subscribe button down below and turn on your bell notifications so you don't miss any of my videos. I'm sure you guys remember me talking about creating a little series where I help you guys become girl bosses and help you guys learn how to work from home, whether that is doing video editing for a business you own or doing video editing for a YouTube channel. Today I want to show you guys how to edit videos for beginners. So if you've never edited a video in your life, I hope that this will be the video to help you start to edit videos and learn to edit videos. In this series, I am going to have a series of 4 to 5 videos where I'm going to be teaching you guys how to edit videos with the program that I use, which is Adobe Premiere Pro. Before we begin, this is a partnership with MSI. If you guys have watched any of my other videos, you might have spotted this adorable pink laptop. This is such an eye catcher. It's a stunner. Everybody always asks about my pink laptop. Such a stunning computer. This computer to me just screams girl boss. Pink is my favorite color. Obviously, I don't think I have to say that. And finally, I am here to talk about it and tell you guys a little bit more about why I chose this computer specifically to edit my videos. A little bit of information why this computer does the job at video editing and why it is so important to have really great specs whenever it comes to an editing computer, because you are going to need a minimum of all of the things I'm about to say, because this is a perfect entry-level beginners or even someone that just wants to start taking video editing and more heavy task duties on a laptop more seriously. I'm going to tell you about all the specs this computer has and why it is the perfect upgrade. This has an i7 10th generation 6-core processor, which is going to distribute all of your tasks flawlessly, and it's just going to make everything run smoothly as far as your video editing programs, Photoshop, and just browsing the web goes. Have 16 gigabytes of RAM. I would recommend no less than 8, but 8 is pushing it. I do recommend 16 gigabytes of RAM if you do want to get into YouTube or video editing. Have an 180-degree flat screen design for sharing your work. You just press the F12 key to flip your screen and you can share your work with the person sitting across from you. So it's also a really great business laptop. Screen is 100% Adobe RGB color accurate, so it does have true color technology, which means that whenever it comes to printing, you can see exactly what you're going to get before you print it. When it comes to editing graphics and editing videos, whenever you edit something on the computer, it can assure that you're not going to get anything different at all once it is uploaded to the internet. To 10 hours of battery life. It has fingerprint recognition as well as face recognition, and it weighs about 2.8 pounds, which is extremely portable and lightweight. Also own the white version of this laptop, so if you guys have not seen the unboxing I did on that one, I will go ahead and link it down below, where I explain to you a little bit more why I came to my decision to get an MSI Prestige computer for editing my videos. I did purchase the white version of this computer last year before I ended up doing the partnership with MSI for this pink computer. It is the exact same specs as the white computer, so there's really not much of a difference at all, except for it is pink. Let's go ahead and get started on the tutorial. Okay guys, so we are starting off just on my desktop screen. I'm just going to be opening up Adobe Premiere. So once I click it, so this is what it looks like. I like to keep the apps that I use consistently here at the bottom. And right now I'm using the screen recorder, so that's why you see this one here. But this is what Premiere Pro looks like as it's opening up. It will just pop up this beautiful window of nothingness, and then it pops up this other one. So this is what it looks like. This can look a little bit overwhelming, but this is probably the simplest part of it all, really. So here you can open an existing project, open a new project, or if you've been working on a recent project, it will show all of them right here. So I'm just going to click on a new project. That way I can just show you guys how it all works. Once you open a new project, you're going to get this window. I know it can look overwhelming, but you do not mess with any of these settings. These settings are already correct. So you will just go in and title your video. So let's see, editing tutorial. And right here you can change where you have the home of your project. So I don't know if you guys know this, but on Premiere you do have auto saving and stuff like that, where it will auto save your files. And this is basically the directory where you can find those files. If you want to find them easier, you can change it. But since I already know how to find them, I don't necessarily change it. I just leave it as it is. So then you just click OK. And it will pop up this right here. And this can look very overwhelming at first, but we are going to go in categories. We're going to work in sections so I can teach you guys what all of this is. So the first thing I want to mention is that my editor is set onto the color setting up here. All of this right here are display settings and nothing more. So if you click effects, it's going to change the way the layout of the editor looks. As you can see, most people do start with the editing tab, which will look a little something like this. And all it did is remove that side panel here. So this is great for beginners if you don't plan on doing any color correcting or editing, but I prefer to have it on the color setting because I do like to edit clips that look too dark or that look too orange. So that's basically why you want to have that tab, because you have the color correction options easily accessible. So if you ask me, I would highly recommend editing on the color tab. I need a sip of coffee. Wow, I could do ASMR with this. So cool. I'm using my boyfriend's like $400 $400 gaming headset, and this thing is pretty cool, so I think I need one. We have all of these panels here, so I'm going to quickly go over what each one is for. So this one right here is where you will preview your files, cut your clips, look at your effects, edit your audio, volume levels, etc. This is a very important little window right here. So this next window here looks very similar to the other one. However, this right here will be to preview your final project. So I like to call this a preview window. Obviously it's called program, but I call it the preview window because this is where I can essentially see what my project looks like. This is where I can see my progress, play back the video and see how it looks, and all of that good stuff. So the panel down here to the bottom left, this is where you will have all of your clips, all of your media, basically all of your tools. This is what I call the tool panel. I have my own little nicknames for these. Obviously, that's not what they're actually called, but this is basically your tool belt of the editor. So if you think about being a construction worker or anything like that, this is the tool belt. This is where you will have everything you need accessible to you to complete your task. So right next to that, we have the timeline. So this is the project. If you're a construction worker, this is the foundation of the house you're building. This is where you're going to build it. So this right here is where you're going to drag and drop all your media. It's where you're going to piece your project together. This is the construction site right here, and this little section right here in the middle in between those two panels, this is your little tool bar. So you're going to have your selection tool, your blade tool, or razor tool as it says on there. So the razor tool allows you to cut between clips and stuff like that if you need to quickly here. There is a pen tool. You have the text tool, so you can type annotations and all that good stuff. So hopefully this kind of narrowed down what these 4 panels are. This panel right here on the side, this is your basically your color editing tool. So this is where you can adjust lighting, colors, and stuff like that. Like I said, this isn't necessary, but it is definitely helpful. Obviously, the next step is going to be to get some footage in here so we can begin editing. We need some material. There are a few different ways that you can import your media. So you can go directly onto the folder of the media you're trying to import, and you can just drag and drop your media. You can also double tap or double click on basically on an open space on this area, and it will pop up the window, and then you can add media through that. Or you can go to File, Import, and again, the same thing. So I'm going to go ahead and add the rest of these clips here. And I just drag and drop it. This is how I find it the easiest to do is to just drag and drop it, but some people like to use the like import or the double tapping. I mean, it's just whatever you find easiest. There's no wrong way to do it. Then I like to go on to videos, and I just go on to my essential video materials, and all I have in here is my intro, which I drag and drop as well, my social media buttons, which I will show you guys how to use a green screen in this later too, so that's pretty exciting. And then also my subscribe button that I add at the beginning of every single video. And then I like to pick a little background song, anything really. I really love this Carefree one, so I just add that. And I will talk to you guys a little bit more about music and audio and where to get it and all of that here in a little bit. Okay, so now we have all of our materials ready to go. The most important thing to me is to make sure I have everything I need to create the video in the editor so that I don't have to be running back and forth from window to window. Obviously, the next step is basically adding your clips to the timeline, which is where you will be doing most of the work. So I'm going to show you guys how these windows kind of all tie together really quickly. So this is kind of like the first clip I want to do. I did a little clip of me making some coffee for my video just to add a little bit of mood and aesthetic into it. So right here is your previewer. As I told you guys, this basically transfers your tool over here. So what you want to do is use these two little tools right here. So this says mark in and this one says mark out. So what this is going to do is we're going to click this one, mark in. It's going to highlight this video. So right here, this is a timeline of the video. You can scrub through this and kind of see what you did here and find where you want to begin. If it wasn't at the beginning how I did, you can kind of find your place here. So I'm going to just get the part where I click the button, and then we're going to click the mark out tool. And this right here is what will go inserted into the sequence here. These timelines are called sequences. You can create multiple sequences and edit multiple videos at the same time on the timeline, but we are only going to be doing one because I don't want to overwhelm you guys. Okay, so the next thing you can do is you can literally click this and it will make a little fist and you just drag it onto the sequence, which it says on there, drop media here to create sequence. So self-explanatory. So then it will create your sequence and it will automatically put your sequence settings to what it needs for the video that you recorded. So of course I recorded in 1080p, which is a 1080 HD, which is 1920 by 1080, I believe, is the resolution size. So it automatically does that, and it will automatically upload to my YouTube as a 1080p video whenever I export. So you can also change your sequence settings by clicking sequence settings. So if you're filming something for like Instagram, of course you can change the dimensions right here. I'm not sure the dimensions for an Instagram video, so don't hold me on that. I don't really do Instagram videos, but you can definitely find the dimensions if you just Google Instagram video dimensions. So okay, so we're not going to change any of this. Okay, so now that you guys saw kind of how I inserted this clip, there are actually a couple of ways you can do that. I find dragging it is the easiest way, but you can also click this button right here that says insert, and it will also insert it for you. Also, you see these two buttons here. If you did not want the audio to this clip, you can click drag video only, and it will only put the video. Or you can click drag audio only if you only want the audio, and it will insert only the audio. So those are super helpful whenever you're doing like tutorials where you just need the audio removed. You don't need to go back in here and detach it and remove it, because in order to remove the audio, once the clip is in here, you have to right click, unlink. So it unlinks the video file from the audio file, and then you can right click and delete or cut. And I'm not going to do that because I actually want the audio on this clip, so I'm just going to leave that as is. But if you did not want the audio, that is how you would do that. So the next thing I'm going to show you guys is how to do a time lapse. Wanted to do like a get ready with me style of video or a little vlog time lapse of you shopping or whatever it may be, this is how you would do it. So I'm going to find the clip when the coffee starts to pour right here, and I'm going to use those little tabs to select it, to mark it in, and then once it's brewed, mark it out. So I'm going to go ahead and drag and drop that to the timeline. And then right here, we're going to right click, and then we click speed duration right here. So this is how you would either slow a clip down or you would speed it up. I always speed it up to like 500 to 900%. If you are slowing it down, you would do a smaller percentage, like 50, anything under 100, because 100 is the normal speed of the video. So if you're going to slow it down, it needs to be under 100. If you're going to speed it up, it needs to be above 100. So I'm just going to click 500, and right here it will tell you the duration of the clip. So that's about 8 seconds. So we're going to just click OK, and that's going to speed the clip up. So now you guys can see the clip sped up right there. Ooh, never seen coffee pour so fast. Next thing we're going to go over are these little tools here. So I really only use about 3 or 4 of them. I don't really use the ripple edit tool. I'm not even sure what it's for. Let's find out. So I'm pretty sure, okay, so that just deletes space between clips. So if you have a clip like at the beginning and then a clip at like 30 minutes or something, it would just delete the space with you having to drag the file all the way. Super handy. I actually need to use that more often, so I'm super glad I saw that. Now the selection tool is just the standard tool where you go to and from, and you can move one clip at a time with this and stuff like that. So this right here is the track select forward tool. So let's give a little scenario. That way you guys can kind of understand when this tool is really helpful. So say you went back to proof watch your video. I do this all the time. I always like to watch my video before I save it just to make sure I catch any little thing. So right here is a razor tool and the track select forward tool. I use those in combination with each other. So say I thought the video is just too long and I want to cut out something in between something. So say I want to cut out starting right here. You can use the blade tool and you just basically slice between it, and then say I want to cut right there. So this is the section that I want to remove, right? So you would do that, and then you could push Ctrl X if you're on a Windows to just delete that, or you could just right click and click cut. So that's going to delete that, right? Well, say you don't want to use the ripple tool, but you have a bunch of other clips, like you have the whole rest of your video edited behind this clip. You don't want to have to drag each clip one by one over. So what you would do is select the track select forward tool, and this, I guess I should show you guys an example, right? So let's just cut this into a few different pieces so it just looks like it's a lot of clips. So if you were to use this tool, literally you only be able to move one at a time. Then you'd have to go in and move all of them one at a time. So that's like super boring and takes too long. So with the track select forward tool, you can select all the clips at one time and drag them forward. Okay, so moving along with the tools, the pen tool is a little bit more advanced, so I'm not really going to go over that. This is more for like masking and stuff like that. It's just extremely advanced. And then we have the hand tool. This basically just selects each panel. Like I don't use the hand tool, so let's just not go there. So next we have the type tool. So there are actually 2 ways you can add text to this, and each way has its own, I guess, benefit to it. Like there are positives about each tool. So this one, the positive about it is that it's just super quick. So you just kind of draw on your little thing here, and then you can add clip, right? So I'm trying to think of what I would add. Usually it would be like a coupon code, or if I forgot to say something, that's what I would add here. So I'm just gonna add the text. You can totally leave it as it is if you want to, if you just want to be simple. And yes, I do have my autosave turned on, so you guys might see the project autosaving. I do recommend to turn it on because if you don't, your program can crash and you'll lose all your progress. So definitely turn the autosave on, or you can click CTRL-S to autosave your project. Anyway, that's totally off topic. So we want to select this or highlight it and click the Effect Controls tab. This Effect Controls tab you will go to a lot. This is kind of how you would scale an image or, move something. And it also is where you basically edit all the effects, like the text. So right here, you would just click this little triangle Pac-Man thing, and it will open up all your text settings. So we're going to align this to the center. Maybe we can change the font to something else. Let's do this. And then you can change the color of it by clicking on this white box, and we can make it pink or black. I'm gonna leave it white because I'm going to add a stroke. And with this, you just select it and then you click whatever color you want the stroke to be. I want it to be pink. And then right here, this little number is a stroke width, so you can change this to whatever number that you want. Usually I like to do like 30 or 35. I just like it to be really, really prominent. So now we can click the selection tool and then we can move our coupon code. So that's how you would add text the first way. Next way to add text to a video is by clicking the file section here. You click new and then you go to legacy title. The main difference that I see between the two is that this one actually has some pre-made text styles here, which are really easy to use. Like if you want some fancy schmancy looking text, there's like gold and blue and purple and just some other white outlined and shadowed text. It has a bit more options to it as well. So I personally like to use the ellipse tool and add a big circle. And then I change that circle color to either white or pink or whatever I'm feeling that day. And then I change the opacity up here. So the opacity is basically the transparency of the circle. So usually I put it on like 35 or 40 and it just makes it clear. So I'm starting to notice there's a lot of whites on that corner. So I'm going to change it to pink just so it's more prominent so you guys can see it. Okay, now you guys can see the circle. Sometimes I even bump it up more. It just depends on the video that I'm doing or what it looks like, that I like to change the colors, mess with the opacity. So then you click the type tool, which is this T right here. And always just make sure that you make the circle first, or else you'll have to figure out how to make the circle get behind the text, if that makes sense. So I just do it in the right order so that I don't have to do an extra step. So then we're going to write again. Oh, this is on a symbol thing. So let's change the font. This will work. And once you change the font, click on the box again, or else it will change the font as you type instead of typing. So again, we're just going to type coupon code and then my name. So we're going to just select this. We're just going to highlight it all and then center it. And we're just going to change the color to white. Oh, I didn't select all of it. So let me do that. So now you guys know if you wanted to make each letter a different color, that's how you would do it. You select each letter and change the color as you're doing it. So now we go back to the little selection tool and we would move it. So you can leave it as is, or you can add strokes to this as well. So let's just say I wanted it to be 35. And I want the stroke to be, I don't know, like a more blush pink or something. Or maybe a darker pink. Okay, so that's what it would look like. So now when you come back here, you don't see it, right? That's because it is actually over here. So you will just move it and drag it onto the video wherever you want it. And now you can see it right here. Put one on top of the other here on the timeline. You can see both of them at the same time. This is how you would add multiple things at once, like maybe screenshots of questions somebody asked you in your Instagram stories. You guys have seen me do that. Or if you want to add like the price or a screenshot of a listing of a product and you want to add the expensive one versus the cheap one, or you want to add two texts at the same time, this is how you would do it. You would just pile the layers on top of each other. The layers right here, you can actually add more than the 3 provided here. You can add how many ever you want. You just drag and drop something to it and it just literally creates another one. You can add so many, pretty much an unlimited amount, how many ever you want. So that's why Adobe Premiere is just so handy, because it just has so many options. It does not limit you. You can do anything. The sky is not the limit. The limit is there's no limit. Now that you guys have learned how to do text, I'm going to show you how to transition the text, or how to add transition between clips. So the transitions can be found over here in our tool belt, and you just go to these little arrows and you click effects. So right here you will see something that says video transitions. So here's where you can find all of the fancy transitions. You can zoom your text in. I will show you guys what that looks like really quickly. Both of them, just so you guys can see. So that's how it would zoom in. You can literally, like, I'm gonna just delete these real quick. You can literally slide it in if you wanted to. You can, how does that look? Let's see. You can slide it in. You can do so many things. However, if you are happy and simple the way that I am, I really love just the simple, basic, dissolve type of a transition, and that one is actually on a shortcut. So you would just click right here when you get the little red arrow, just click at the end of the clip, you right click and you click apply default transition. So I'm going to do it to both of them, and what that does is it's just a simple fade in fade out kind of a transition. I know there's a way you can set the transition to whichever one you like. However, we will save that probably for another video, because I can't remember off the top of my head on how to do that. So that's how you would add a transition. So these transitions you can add to your text. I'm going to move these over just so we can add a transition here, because you can also add these transitions to your videos. Ta-da! And then we have our coupon codes, which I don't know what the coupon codes are for. They're not actual coupon codes, so don't try to use them. Go ahead and delete those coupon codes because we really don't need them. So the next thing that I like to do is add my intro. So I'm just going to add that on. This is already pre-saved and all of that. And I just like to move the audio down, because if I don't move it down, it'll just be super loud because the song is really loud. So add the pre-intro, the actual intro. We add our talking intro where I'm like, hey guys, what's up? So let me go find that. And I do this intro like so many times, because when you're just talking to a camera, you can like sound really robotic. So I try to make it as genuine as possible. I try to pretend you guys are like in the room, you know what I mean? So yeah, I do them quite a bit, and that's why I've mastered it so well, because I do it a lot. I practice it a lot. So pretties, welcome back. So I just add this talking portion of the video, and again you just throw it in there. Now I'm going to add my social media buttons, which you guys know pop up at the beginning of every single one of my videos. So I'm just going to take my social media buttons. These are already pre-made. These were made for me by someone, and if I can find their email, I will link it below. But I did pay for someone to make me these. But if you guys want, you can you can YouTube social media button overlays or green screen overlays, and you can find these where they're blank and you just add your username to them. So I will link a couple down below that you guys can use, but basically these are on a green screen, so this is going to teach you kind of how to use a green screen as well, if you guys use green screens or are interested in green screens or overlays. Green screens are really handy because you can do so much with them. You can add graphics, you can make graphics with a green screen, then add them into your video. It's just really helpful. So once we have dragged this in place, I'm just going to go to the effects tab, and we are going to type here key. Yes, like a key to unlock a door. So you get all of these keying options here. You want to choose the Ultra Key option and drag it on top of that clip, the social media icons clip. So once you do that, you want to go to the Effects panel, and then you scroll down and you'll find it right here, Ultra Key. So then right here you see this little black box. We want to select the green, so we're going to click this dropper, and it's going to change our little mouse, our little arrow, cursor, whatever you want to call it, into a dropper. And we're going to come over here, we're going to select that green color, and ta-da, it basically masks away the green. So you basically select whichever color you want to take away. So now we get... Hey pretties, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Tanya and I film all kinds of... And that is how you use a green screen, you guys. Okay guys, I needed another coffee break. Whew, who knew teaching people how to edit would be so much talking? I feel like there's so much to explain. Okay, so the next section of this tutorial is going to be all about audio, how to change volumes, the easiest ways to do it, shortcuts, and just how to put music, just voiceovers, everything that has to do with audio. We're going to start out with just volume, just teaching you guys volume. So on your editor, there should be this thing called Audio Track Mixer. If you do not see Audio Track Mixer, I'm not talking about Audio Clip Mixer. This is a different thing. You want the one that says Audio Track Mixer, not Clip, track. The reason why is because the Clip Mixer is only going to edit the audio on the selected clip at a time. But the Track Mixer is going to edit all the audio on one track. So if your whole video is on the first track where you're talking, you can edit all the audio where you're talking. So the key is to put all of your talking audio on one track and all of your music audio on a second track, and then all of your background music audio on the third track. So if you guys noticed, I put you see this gap right here because I put the audio to my intro, which is super loud, on the second track so that we can actually just kind of turn the volume down on that a little bit. And then all of my talking audio is on the first track. And then the next thing I'm going to do is add my background music on the third track. So this is the audio I'm using here. It's called Carefree. We're just going to drag and drop it in. So if you play that, literally your ears will hurt because it's drowning out your voice. It's super loud. So now we're going to go to Audio Track Mixer and we're going to edit the volumes on each of these tracks. So first of all, we're going to turn up the volume on the talking track, which is track number 1, which is A1 right here. So we're going to turn that all the way up because a lot of the times the talking part is a little too low in comparison to the music. So next on the track 2, we're going to edit that intro music. So I'm just going to turn it down a little bit just so it's not so loud, but I still want it to be loud because it is the intro. So on the background music, which is on track 3, it's on track 3, we're going to just go ahead and turn that all the way to -30, -31. Around there is like the magic number. It just depends on your personal audio from your video that you recorded. So you just want to mess around it a little bit. Hey pretties, welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Okay, so usually I like to play it back just to make sure everything sounds good, and that is how you adjust volumes on a track. Now, if you did want to adjust the volume on just one clip, then you would go to Audio Clip Mixer. You would basically select whichever clip you want to change the audio on, and right here you will just change it. Simple. The next thing I'm going to teach you guys is how to do a voiceover. So I'm going to add a few clips here just so we have some filler content for the voiceover. So we just have some random clips of the computer here. If I'm doing like a makeup tutorial, this is usually what I use to do voiceovers. So the first thing that I'm going to do is click the Audio Track mixer. Once again, audio track mixer is so important. If this is not already on here, the way you find it is you go to window, and right here it'll show you everything that you can add to your editor. You would just go to audio track mixer and you would just select it and it will add it to your little panel here. Okay, so we are going to pick which track that we want the voiceover to be on. So normally I voice over on the first track because obviously if there's no audio on the video, the first track will be empty. So I would just click this little R right here and it's going to turn red. That means it's ready to record. And then we click the little red record dot right here. It's not going to start recording yet, don't worry. So these two basically communicate to each other like, hey, we're doing a voiceover. Get ready. Okay, and then you just click the little play toggle button. Once you click this play button, you better be a ninja because it's recording after that. And you just record. And if you do not mute, this is how you do a voiceover. And let me just tell you guys, if you do not mute your audio, and you do not put headphones on, it will echo horribly. So you have to do one or the other or both. I normally do both. I use a gaming headset to do my voiceovers when I do voiceovers. I know gaming headsets can be expensive, or you could just get a Blue Yeti. No, it's a Blue Snowball mic. It's around $50 if you are really serious about doing voiceovers. But again, you can also just use your simple computer mic. You do not need to buy a mic. Computers come with mics. They're not the greatest, but they are doable. They are usable. I've done it before. I've used just my computer mic. So the very last thing we're going to do is export this video. I'm going to show you how to export correctly for YouTube. This is very important. Please pay attention. If you haven't been paying attention, pay attention now. But anyway, this is how you would export. So you just go to File. Oh, make sure that your timeline is selected. This little box, make sure it's highlighted in blue the way it is. So then you go to File, Export, Media. Or you can click CTRL-M if you're on a Windows computer, and that will be a shortcut to export as well. So you will get this right here. Normally this isn't to what it's supposed to be. It'll be more so to like something like this, or you will have to unselect that, or you will have something like QuickTime. I don't know, it will be on something random. So you just want to change that to H.264. And then you want to change this to YouTube 1080 Full HD, or you can choose the 4K option if your video is 4K. I just usually use the 1080p Full HD option because that's what I film in. And this baby right here, this is your file name. You just want to change that to whatever your video is about. So editing tutorial. And then that's everything. You just click on export. It will start exporting. And right here will render your audio, and then it will render your video. You can also just render everything before you actually export. That also works. The very last thing I'm going to show you guys about exporting your video is the settings. If you have this specific computer, if you have an MSI Prestige, this is what you will do if you want it to render even quicker. I can usually get my videos, like a 30-minute video, to render in 10 minutes, so or less. So it's really crazy. So you want to click here. This is your Creator Center, and you will go to these little tabs right here, and you will want to click High Performance right here. You will click on Sport, click Apply, and it will literally export your video faster. So that's just a little tip. Of course, it's not necessary. Normally when I'm just browsing and stuff, I just keep mine on the silent setting, on the comfort setting, and the auto fan setting. But like I said, if you want to export faster, definitely use the high performance one. You also have like a battery saving one, balance, so you have just all kinds of options here. that is everything I have for today on how to begin editing videos on Adobe Premiere Pro. I hope that you guys learned something new. Let me know if these videos are helpful down below. If you want me to keep doing them, give this video a thumbs up. You guys know I love hearing your feedback. Let me know what you want me to include in the rest of the tutorials. Any questions you might have on how to do something, please leave it in the comment section, as it will give me ideas on what else to teach you guys for this series. I love you guys so much. If you stayed until the end, leave this emoji right here, and I will see y'all in the next one. Mwah. Bye.